Hi everyone, Journey here, and welcome to my channel. So as the crypto markets continue to bleed because of Bitcoin dumps once again, not much can be said about your favorite project. Basically, your favorite project is in a giant accumulation phase right now, so if you believe in the project, just DCA accordingly. So I wanted to talk about something different today because as more and more companies adopt NFTs, especially in the gaming space, you're starting to see backlash in the gaming community. In particular, Jim Sterling and SomeOrdinaryGamers have started to put up videos where they really are rejecting the concept of NFTs. You can find their links in the description. Also, do follow them because they are a good source of gaming industry news in general. Given their points of view about video games and NFTs, I just wanted to make a response video because unfortunately, while some of their points are valid, they don't really form the complete picture. So let me just do this response to educate the wider community, even them, on some of the misconceptions about NFT games. The whole point here is not to debunk their arguments. It's not about winning or losing here, but rather to have a proper conversation about NFTs, because there's a lot to clarify about blockchain gaming in general. So let's dive into their points to see what they're talking about. The first thing that really needs to be understood is not all NFTs are created equal. Unfortunately, Jim Sterling and SomeOrdinaryGamers are lumping all NFTs into a single category when a lot of NFTs exist. You have, of course, the trashy art NFTs that are really just speculative and the whole purpose of them is being flipped. That one we can all agree really doesn't have utility and value. Then you have the second category of NFTs, which are, of course, the cosmetic skins. These, once again, have utility depending on who owns them. For cosmetic skins, you cannot lump them as to something very evil because for very loyal gamers of particular genres, let's take the MOBA genre and the FPS genre, these games tend to be grinding games, meaning you play them every day because you just wanted to increase your skill level, etc. If you're seeing the same character over and over, then it becomes very, very boring after a short time. That is where cosmetic skins have utility among these player bases. And if you have the capacity to be able to buy and sell these NFTs or these cosmetic skins, then it is much easier to cycle money around. As a gamer, you do not have to keep buying them where it's just a one-way street. You're just buying cosmetic skins from AAA developers without getting anything in return. At least in this case, because it's an NFT, you are able to then cycle your NFTs around. Instead of the game studios bleeding money off of you, you can actually take part in creating an economy where you have buying and selling of particular skins. And the third type of NFT with respect to gaming is the NFT that actually has game utility. The best example of this is Splinterlands, because in Splinterlands, you collect cards, and these cards all have utility because it is integrated into the gameplay of the game itself. And the good thing about NFTs like this is compared to Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone at the moment where you do not own any of these decks, in Splinterlands, not only do you have a card collecting community, there's now an economy that exists within this community where there's a lot of buying and selling of these cards. And one very positive thing about collecting NFTs with regards to certain genres like this, your cards will forever be in pristine condition. You do not have to worry about losing them, unless of course you give your seed phrases and all that, but that's another matter. But they will forever be pristine, so they can be forever traded or rented out without the fear of losing the card or damaging the card, etc. So that's the first point. Not all NFTs are created equally. The second point, and this is where I agree with Jim Sterling and SomeOrdinaryGamers. Yes, AAA developers releasing NFTs for their video games will never work because AAA games will probably never understand this point. Blockchain gaming is not just about NFT ownership. It is not just about asset ownership. There's a missing component that Jim Sterling and SomeOrdinaryGamers miss, which is not surprising because it is something that's not really talked about when it comes to crypto gaming. NFTs in video games only work when there is a corresponding decentralized autonomous organization or DAO accompanied with the game. Because if a AAA studio just releases NFTs, then of course, what is stopping these game studios from just releasing NFTs? Then the NFTs would lose value just because of sheer inflation. But with DAOs, players not only own the assets, but also have a voice in where the game direction should go. NFTs are not enough when evaluating blockchain-based games. It is the combination of asset ownership and game voting rights that really determine when a particular game will really provide value to its gaming base. And the third major criticism that they have is regarding scholarship. Unfortunately, when people, especially in the West, think about scholarship, they immediately have this impression of the rich versus the poor, or this massive inequality or indentured servitude. But when you actually see what's going on, it is very far from the truth. The first thing to note here is the manager and scholar relationship is more equal than you think because there's nobody stopping the scholar from just dropping out. So if somebody with resources cannot find the appropriate people to play the game with, then it's a no-win situation for both of them. So there's this mutual agreement that exists between the two parties on how best to proceed with their particular arrangement. Another thing to note here is the manager-scholar relationship, especially when it comes to guilds, is not just about giving them the particular axes and then they just play independently and the manager reaps the success. There's also a significant investment that the managers or the guilds have to provide in order to keep the community engaged. So there's a lot of training, there's a lot of support, there's a lot of engagements like Christmas parties or whatnot. So the scholars feel that they are a part of a community and as a group, they all want to succeed. And the third point here is scholars actually graduate. People who rent cards in Splinterlands, if you are a very good gamer, eventually you go out of the renting route and are able to afford your own cards. It's the same for Axis and its scholars. Scholars actually graduate, quote unquote, because if they're good at the game, they are able to earn enough money to buy their own Axis and create their own teams. So there's a way out of this quote unquote indentured servitude because both parties have a mutual agreement on the resource allocation from playing the game. And also, this is where the disconnect happens between gamers from the West and gamers from the rest of the world. Because for gamers in Southeast Asia, for example, Latin America and all that, one, they can't even afford to have all of these AAA games in the first place. What you're left with is a lot of people are wasting time on useless mobile games that just extract money from people via microtransactions. Crypto gaming, at least, gives a chance for someone to maximize their time, where they can be both play a game, have fun, get challenged, but also earn a little bit on the side. And finally, let's clarify the Ponzi or pyramid aspects of blockchain games that a lot of YouTubers are unfortunately communicating. That is a misconception. There's a difference between a multi-level marketing where the only way to earn money is to recruit new people to earn money versus being able to create a viable economy where a lot of people are playing the game and they can exchange value with each other because of the resources earned within that particular game. The Axie economy, for example, is not a Ponzi because a Ponzi scheme only goes down. It doesn't go sideways. A lot of people conflate game expansion with pyramid schemes. That's not the case. Axie is just being adopted by more people. The Axie community is forming an economy on its own. It's almost like a nation on its own, where you have the investors, you have the whales, you have the guilds, you have the scholars, and you have the independent players. These 5 parties are currently exchanging value with each other, and that determines the earning capacity of everyone in that particular ecosystem. That is not a Ponzi scheme. If the investors of Axie, most of them don't play the game, would crash the AXS and SLP price, all the other parties would lose money. The investors are also not earning SLP. The investors are speculating on AXS price, SLP price, etc. The gamers have their own mini ecosystem where breeding and SLP earning happens. So lumping blockchain gaming as a Ponzi scheme is simply misguided. There's a very big difference with Ponzi schemes and creating vibrant economies within a particular game. And these are the 4 major points that we would like to clarify. And moving forward, it is very important as a crypto gaming investor to understand this point. As blockchain gaming has ever-increasing adoption, you will start to have all of these YouTube personalities in the gaming space that have first ignored us. Then they laugh at us. They laugh at the NFT concepts. Then they are starting to fight back. So these reaction videos are pretty much their attempt to dissuade everyone to adopt a more innovative idea. But eventually, we will win. If you like that video, hit like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you want me to make a video about your favorite gaming crypto? Be a Patreon subscriber so you can request for it. Being a Patreon subscriber helps keep the channel sponsor, shill, and Moonboy free. Take care everyone. Bye-bye.